Hi everybody, this is Tega. You're welcome to my channel. If today is your first time of visiting this channel, guys, you're welcome. If you've been before and you're a subscriber and you're back again, thanks so much for visiting again. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a peplum. Very easy, guys. No complicated mathematics. So let's get started. As you can see from the diagram, this is a full peplum here. It has a right side and it has a left side to it, and the front side and the back side. So I'm gonna be working first with a half of my waist circumference, which is 28 inches. So I'll be working with 14 inches. So if I'm gonna work with the 14 inches, I need to divide the 14 inches into two when folding my paper. So as you can see, this is my brown paper. So I'm going to fold that bit into two. This is half of my circumference, my waist circumference. As you can see there, the entire circumference is 28, but when I divide it into two is 14, which gives me the front panel of my peplum. So I'm going to be drafting that now. From the place on fold, as you can see on the paper, I'll be taking the length of the peplum, which is 7 inches. So I'll be marking that on the paper. And after marking that, I'm going to rule a line. You need to take your ruler and rule a line to connect all the markings together. And once I've done that, I want to add 1 inch sewing allowance to the length of my peplum, so which gives me 8 inches in total. So I'm just marking it differently so you understand what I'm doing. The 7 inches was for the length of the peplum, and the 1 inch I'm adding is for the sewing allowance. Next, I'm gonna move on to the quarter of my waist circumference, which is 7. First of all, I made a marking of the 8 inches, the 7 for the waist and 1 for the sewing allowance. So that's the 8 inches. So I went ahead to make the marking for my 7 inches waist. The quarter of the waist I'm using is 7. So once I made that marking, I'm gonna scribble down what I've taken, the 1 inch allowance for both the length of the peplum and for the side seam. So that's 7 inches there and 7 inches there, guys. Whatever your waist measurement is or the desired length of peplum, yeah, you need to make the marking exactly like I've done. It doesn't have to be the same, size as this. If your waist is 40, then the quarter is gonna be 10 inches, so you take 10 inches. And the length of your peplum can be 15, whatever you've chosen. As you can see here, it looks rectangular in shape, right? So that's my 8 by 8 in a way when folded, but when opened up is 16 by 8. So it's 16 by 8 here, which forms half of my peplum, but it looks small, doesn't it? So what you need to do when making this pattern is to draw, a few lines like I'm doing. Here I'm kind of taking approximately an inch. So the sides of the pattern is my sewing allowance. Don't forget I took 1 inch for each of the sides. So that's why I'm making that, mark. So here I'm just drawing the line for my sewing allowance, for the hemline of the peplum. And once you've done that, you now take your scissors and cut all the lines open. Guys, make sure you cut it right to the tip of the paper. Make sure it's not disconnected anyway. But if that happens, just use a sellotape and tape it down. And so once that is done, you want to take another paper and spread all of that out like I'm doing. Just watch what I'm doing. You need to space it out like that. So in the form of a circle. Then you take your pen or pencil or marker and just mark the midpoint, which is the waistline. So this is half of the waist circumference. Now take your curved ruler as well and curve out the edges in such a way that it forms a circle, a clean circle, guys. Very clean. So make sure you take your time to make sure it's all curved out properly. So once you have completed making your circle, you want to just draw a line. You make two lines anyway at the seam line, seam allowance, of the peplum. That's the point where you will be stitching it together with the other peplum will be cutting. So we're making two of this. So once that is done, you want to start cutting, guys. I'm gonna be starting from here. That's where my seam allowance is, where I'll be stitching it together with the other one. Once you've cut the circle, you want to go in between and cut out the waistline. And you're gonna go in a circle again. You need to be gentle with that, guys. Don't cut into the initial pattern, just cut the new pattern. Right. So that's what it should look like. These peplum patterns are good for blouses with only side seams, the right and the left side seams, but not good for blouses with a back, zip. Otherwise, we'll be cutting a different pattern. I want to draw your attention to the seam allowance area. You can decide to take half an inch, quarter of an inch for your seam allowance, but I took 1 inch. You want to remove the previous pattern because we don't need it anymore. We've got a new pattern now. So here's one of the panels. We're going to use this to cut the second panel now. Make sure you don't fold the 1 inch sewing allowance when you're cutting the second pattern. So you want to lay everything flat, open it up, open up the 1 inch, whatever allowance you've given it. Make sure it's well opened when you're cutting the second one. So you want to lay a fresh paper on the table, then make sure everything is well aligned. The place on fold is laid properly on the place on fold on the new paper. So you want to secure it with pins or whatever to make it lay properly. Then start cutting, guys. As you can see that the 1 inch sewing allowance is opened, it's not folded in. So you cut. And here is our two panels. So this is the full peplum we wanna make use of. So here's the pattern for your peplum ready to be used. So let's assume you've cut your pattern out on your fabric. You need to stitch down both hands like that. That's how you stitch down both of the panels together, and when you open it up, that's your full peplum, and it will be ready to be attached to the top part of your blouse or top, and you sew it all the way around. I went ahead here to cut out the peplum. This is half of the waistline. You need to cut two of this, and once you cut it, it should look something like this. This is the front panel, and it looks absolutely stunning. Very easy method. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've learned how to make a peplum in a different way. Remember to subscribe, press that notification bell, like, share, and leave a comment for me. See you in my next video, and bye for now.